Obviously, yeah, not the result you were hoping for on Saturday at Nebraska, but just what were your overall takeaways from watching that game back on film?
There's a lot to clean up in the first three quarters, but ultimately the game's in the balance in the fourth, and we didn't find a way to finish in all three phases in a hostile place. And then you think about we want to continue to grow as a team and all of that, so we got to find ways, especially on the road, to finish in the fourth, and we didn't do that. A lot to clean up, especially on the special team side. Punt had been a strength of ours, but it definitely wasn't in that game, whether we're talking the protection of it, giving up a block, the coverage of it, and so that was not good enough. Offensively, the inefficiency kind of overall, but you look at third down, how many third down attempts we had, the lack of production on third down, and so you look at situations of first and second, getting to so many third downs, long yardage third downs. We got to be better in protection. The wind was a factor in the pass game, but we got to be better overall offensively. I was actually defensively kind of the response they had. One, going from a previous week against SC, didn't play well enough, to they came to play. The situations the defense faced in regards to field position, because of some turnovers, returns, they responded well. I thought they bowed up and kept us in that game. At the same time, we did take the lead toward the end of the third quarter, gave up an immediate touchdown, gave up points right after that. And so all of it, summarizing, comes down to the fourth, and we got outplayed, outcoached in the fourth.
Obviously, going into that game, defense, getting to the quarterback was something you guys were looking to improve on. Getting 5 sacks in that game, was there anything differently done throughout the bye to get you guys ready for this one?
There was some detail that was emphasized, and again, you're getting ready for an opponent, and they did throw the ball pretty successfully leading into it. Thought we were going to have opportunities, and I was happy with those guys. Some of it was just effort plays in regards to coverage holding up, and so the quarterback's holding the ball longer. Some schematically, whether we're a blitz or a line game, and so we need to continue that of affecting the passer.
You mentioned too a little bit in the fourth quarter, finishing a game, second straight game where you guys have been in it, one possession game, and then it sort of gets away. What do you think is the biggest maybe common denominator in both those losses?
Yeah, I think playing complementary, all three phases contributing to wins in the fourth, and so you get to back-to-back weeks on the road, granted, but it's still, we got to find a way on the road to finish in the fourth, answering back, knowing that it's a long game, and execute. Not all of a sudden doing something dramatically you haven't prepared to do, but being able to do that in those critical moments.
With Aiden, obviously, he had his moments that were good running the ball and maybe some not so great moments. What did you see out of him that maybe was different than what you've seen throughout the season?
Yeah, I think where his eyes are at, when his eyes are out right, he's a pretty good player, and he had a few snaps where his just eyes were not there, and so that goes back into sometimes lack of trust, and let's face it, some of the protection he was dealing with wasn't where we wanted it to be, and so I think that was a little bit of a factor. You throw in the wind, crowd noise, and some of the inconsistency we had throughout the game, and all that built up on him. I did think, again, he played with some great effort. I look at that some of those fourth down plays he had for us. It goes back to, again, then in the fourth. However the first three have played out, ability to execute in the fourth, him along with all of us playing better in the fourth quarter.
When he gets hit early and taken out of the game, is there almost a lack of confidence at times with him, maybe in the pocket of knowing pressure's coming and he feels like he has to run a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I've played the position, you get hit, and that's not easy stuff. I mean, and a couple of those hits he took were pretty physical, and so on the one where he did need to come out of the game, some of that's strategic too. Like if you're going to go down, he's going to stay down for a minute, right? Allow our backup to get a couple of snaps, get adjusted, all those things. So he goes and gets checked out. Was pleased with Alessio. Came in a critical moment in the red zone and executed for a touchdown. But it's easy to say, but hard to execute. Is like one play early in the game not affecting your play toward the end of it, and that's on the mental and physical side.
On the Nebraska side, a little back and forth between Marsh and Childs.
I know you were asked too in your press conference about the conversation he and Nick had towards the end of the game. I know you didn't see it in the moment, but I guess what's sort of the conversation with those two to make sure they are still connected, even though they had this interaction?
Yeah, I did not see it, didn't witness it. Others that were around it, and actually talking really to Aiden specifically, but both those guys knowing look, competitive, this thing means a ton to them. It was an emotional environment at that time, on the road, the crowd, and so it wasn't overly shocked at, and not just those two in particular, the team, right? There's some frustrations and strong conversations. I think we're good. Both those guys are ultra competitive, and we'll be ready to go back to work.
How do you feel like too that could help in a way of them kind of bonding more and more?
I don't think it's a bad question. You think about like how much work that's get put into this thing and how competitive a lot of these guys are, coaches included. So once in a while, it gets to a boiling point. If you've handled it past the incident or past the conversation correctly, it can be positive.
Did you ever have anything like that with like Chad Johnson or anything like that?
Yeah.
Your playing days?
100%. We've had, all of us have had our moments where you begin to get frustrated and have some strong words, but you move forward and past it, and that's where you go back to a deep trust, especially between Nick and Aiden.
Yeah, with Nick, I mean, obviously he probably that started because he wants the ball more, but I guess how do you get him involved more to where he is really a factor on offense and helping you guys?
Yeah, we want to continue to have him factor. I think the week of work, the plan, the timing that goes into it, all of that's got to be at a high level leading into the game, and then you finding ways throughout the game. And it's not really only Nick. I think Amari Kelly has shown that he can be a really good player. And again, it's easy hindsight. Those guys didn't touch it enough the last week. Well, why was that one? Yeah, preparation needs to be better. The window was a factor in the game, but my role specifically making sure our best guys are touching the ball. Those guys need to touch it more.
Now, as you get ready to focus on UCLA, your first noon game here as Michigan State's head coach, what's sort of the challenge they present? Obviously, coming off a big-time win against Penn State this past week.
Yeah, a big-time challenge because this is a new team. You watch them on that specific game against Penn State, new energy, galvanized, the quarterback playing at an elite level, arm talent-wise, and the ability to run. That turned into execution offensively. They scored a bunch of points against a really good defense, and so they've got a brand new lease on life. Had the biggest win probably yet in college football. I know they're going to be excited to play us.
Do you focus more on that game and the previous game, or do you go back to before they made that coaching change?
You watch it all. I think it's probably you emphasize the last week, the last time they performed. You put a big emphasis on that, but we are watching it all, and yes, with an awareness that there's been some schematic differences, coaching differences each the game you're watching.
You mentioned their quarterback Nico ran for over 100 yards. When you have your defense is going up against Aiden in practice every day, someone who can run, how can that help them get ready for a mobile quarterback?
Well, hopefully we're going to need it because this guy he can extend the play and throw it. He obviously can take off and go. He can make all the throws, and so an awareness that this guy can really hurt you with his arm and his feet, changing the pictures, especially on his legs. We're going to have to find ways to keep him corralled.
Being back home too, I guess the excitement of being back in front of the home fans for you.
Yeah, definitely need the advantage that Spartan Nation brings playing at home. We got to keep this crowd into it, and so play it at a high level and have it be a home field advantage.